We discussed the architecture of 8085 microprocessor or the functional blocks of 8085 microprocessor and what are the various buses available in 8085 microprocessor. And we'll revise once again the microprocessor architecture. Then we move on to the instruction cycle in today class. Okay. Von Neumann architecture. Okay. So usually the architecture of a processor or controller they classified into two categories: von Neumann architecture or Harvard architecture. Okay. So microprocessor architecture is a von Neumann architecture. What do you mean by von Neumann architecture? The data and the programs. The data and the programs are stored in a single read-write memory. Okay. So for example, in yesterday lecture, we discussed move immediate a comma 05h. Okay. So to instruct this particular operation to the microprocessor, we need to store a opcode for move immediate a comma 8-bit data. And then this 8-bit data must stored in the next immediate address location. Okay. So like this, we need to save in the memory. So same read-write memory can be used to store our program, that is opcode for the corresponding instruction, as well as data. Or sometimes if STA 9500H, then STA 16-bit address opcode, then 00 we need to save in the next immediate address location, and then followed by 95. So our opcode, our addresses, our data, all are stored in a single read-write memory. All are stored in a single read-write memory. And generally, we return as data and program. Data and programs are stored in the same read-write memory. So this kind of architecture called as von Neumann architecture. Okay. The content of the read-write memory are accessed by the address locations. Okay. And also the instructions are accessed and executed sequentially. So please remember that 8085 microprocessor architecture is a von Neumann architecture. So our program as well as data both are saved in the same rewrite memory. Harvard architecture available, one more architecture. Harvard architecture. So here the data memory is separate. A dedicated memory allotted for storing the data and the program memory is different. Okay. Program memory is different. This kind of architecture called as Harvard architecture. Okay. So these are all some basics about in general what are the architecture available. Right. So come back to the 8085 microprocessor architecture. We started from for writing your examinations. After drawing this architecture, you start from registers. Okay. Is it okay now? Power cut. So accumulator, 8-bit register. To perform any arithmetic and logical operation, one data has to be moved in accumulator. And also the result of the arithmetic and logical operation will be saved in the accumulator registers only. Okay. And then ALU unit, it performs various arithmetic and logical operations like addition, subtraction, logical and or not, etc. The result finally stored in accumulator. So timing and control unit. So timing and control unit. If you look at this block diagram, you may get a complete idea. It has an oscillator circuit to generate the clock pulse for internal operation of the microprocessor, as well as using this clock out pin, the clock pulse may be used to drive some other devices. Okay. So overall control of the blocks in microprocessor as well as the IO devices connected with the microprocessor. Okay. So everything is synchronized by the timing and control unit. Okay. So what are the signals the timing and control blocks issues? So it has some control signal. It has some control signals. So what are those control signals? Ready, okay, read bar, write bar, and ALE. So these are the control signals. And some status signal, that is S0, S1, input output or IO operations. Input output operation or memory operation. Status signal. And DMA signals, direct memory access controller. Okay. Some integrated circuit or some devices does not have inbuilt data bus address bus. It requires the microprocessor to utilize the address and data bus of microprocessor. For that, there are two signals. One is hold signal and acknowledgement signal, HLD, hold acknowledgement. So control signal, status signal, and direct memory access signals. So apart from this reset signal, reset signals also available in the timing and control unit one. First one is reset in. Reset in to reset the microprocessor. Output pin reset out. Okay. So these are the signals generated by timing and control unit. It's very important. Okay, timing and control unit. And what else? General purpose registers then. General purpose registers. So B, C, D, E, H, L. B, C, D, E, H, L. And the program counter and stack pointer also available. So each and every registers individually 8-bit registers. If you combine BC registered per, DE registered per, HL registered per, it can be used to store 16-bit data. Okay, next program counter. So program counter is a 16-bit register. It stores the address location of opcode or which opcode to be fetched next. Okay. And the stack pointer. In short form SP, this is also 16-bit registers. It points out the memory location of stack. And general purpose register, program counter, and stack pointer. And then increment and decrement registers. Increment and decrement register. So these registers are used to increment or decrement the program counter and stack pointer value. And then address and data. Address and data buffer. Address and data buffer. Okay. So if you look at the architecture, the program counter, the stack pointer, program counter values are placed on this address bus when it is pointing out the main memory or stack memory or address of the IO. Okay. And also these buffers, particularly AD0 to AD7 buffer, is a bidirectional buffer. This is unidirectional buffer. So this bidirectional buffer sometimes or initially whenever ALE1 this buffer hold the address. Whenever ALE equal to 0, this buffer hold the data. And that data will be transmitted through this internal bus and then instruction register, instruction decoder. Accordingly, the timing and control signal will issue the control signal or a status. That is the purpose of address and data buffer. And temporary register. This temporary register not accessed by the programmer. During the program execution, processor will store some data temporarily in this particular registers. Next one, status. Other name is flag register. Status and flag register. So this is an 8-bit registers we discussed yesterday. It shows the status of the arithmetic and logical operation result, whether the result is negative or positive, okay, zero or non-zero value, any auxiliary carry is generated or not, and parity, whether even parity result or odd parity result, whether carry generated or not, everything. Okay. So this is status and flag registers. And then interrupt. And then interrupt control. So microprocessor, 8085 microprocessor support 5 hardware interrupt. 5 hardware interrupt. Okay. So the priority of the interrupts start from trap and then RST 7.5 and then RST 6.5 and then RST 5.5 and finally INTA. So this is the priority. Priority represents if simultaneously more than one interrupt request received by the microprocessor, then the processor will give the priority for the trap interrupt first and then RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5 INTA. Okay. Then what else present? Serial input and output control. Serial input and output control. So serial input data pin, serial output data pins. 2 dedicated pins are used in 8085 microprocessor for getting the data serially from the external world or transmitting the data serially to the external world. Serial control. And other important registers are, I think we covered everything except instruction registers. Instruction registers and decoder. Okay. Instruction registers and decoder. Okay. So this instruction registers, while we execute the program, the opcode is fetched by the microprocessor. And the opcode will be saved in instruction registers first. Then instruction decoder decode that opcode and it interprets what kind of operation it is. Okay. Then the signal sent to timing and control signal. Then timing and control signal will take care of the corresponding operation, whether it is IO related read operation or IO related write operation or opcode fetch from the processor or data read from the memory or address read from the memory, depending on the instructions. Okay. So that is the purpose of instruction registers, instruction decoder. Okay. So you have to explain the architecture in this order. Okay. Registers, accumulator, ALU, timing and control, and what are these signals are available. And you have to explain the functions of each and every signal. And then general purpose registers, program counter, stack pointer, increment, decrement registers, address data buffer, temporary registers, flag registers, interrupt control. So we will discuss in detail about the interrupt section at the end of the unit 1. So we just give an introduction about the interrupt and what are the interrupt signal present. Right? And next, so how the microprocessor read some information from the memory. Okay? So that we discussed yesterday. So microprocessor has 16-bit address bus, AD0 to AD7 and then A8 to A15, but we represent A0 to A15 16-bit address bus. So the program counter will store the 16-bit memory address, and it point out the address location of the memory. Okay, and then microprocessor unit issues the control signal, that is memory read. It issues read operation. Then the processor read the data from the particular memory address. Okay, so that data carry forward used with the help of the data bus to the microprocessor. So MPU communication and bus timing. Yesterday with one example we discussed, we have assumed 2005 is the address location. The opcode 4F is stored. And what are the operation involving during this opcode fetch? Opcode fetch also similar to your reading the data from the memory. Okay, so control logic issues read signal 1. And then it places on the internal data bus and then instruction decoder. Instruction registers followed by instruction decoder. Next, control signals and demultiplexing. So we studied 8085 microprocessor has AD0 to AD7 address data multiplexer pins. Okay. So these pins are used to point out the address of the memory or IO devices, or transferring the data between processor to the external world, whether processor to memory or processor to IO devices. Okay. So how these arrangement, how the address and data are demultiplexed. Okay. So AD0 to AD7 pins connected through a latch. AD0 to AD7 pins connected through the latch. The enable input or the control input to the latch is ALE. Okay. So when the address latch enable equal to 1, the output of latches or address A0 to A7 during the first clock pulse. During the first clock pulse. Okay. During this logic high, the AD0 to AD7s are demultiplexed. Okay. And A0 to A7. So this will be used to carry the lower order 8 bit of the address of the memory. And next clock pulse. So this will be latched out. Now we can use this particular pin for data transfer purpose, D0 to D7. Okay. So this concept called as demultiplexing of AD0 to AD7 using the latch. And IO M bar, read bar, write bar. These are the signals available in the microprocessor. But to generate memory read operations, control signal, or memory write operation control signals, or IO read operation control signal, IO write operation control signal. This is the circuit diagram. Okay. So IO M bar, this read bar. Inverter, this bubble indicate inverter and then NAND gate. So because just assume this pin is 0. This pin is 0. So what do you mean by 0? 0, if you put 0, this will be disabled. 0 complement 1, memory operation will be enabled. Okay. So we confirmed this is memory related operation. Whether it is write operation or read operation, if read bar equal to 0, see 0 complement 1, 0 complement 1, then it generates active low signal. When 0 complement, then this will be 1. So memory read operation will be enabled. Okay. Explain the control signals and demultiplexing concept of AD0 to AD7. Then we need to draw this diagram and how the microprocessor generate various control signals. Memory read operation, memory write operation, IO read operation, IO write operations. Similarly, you can understand by placing a write bar equal to 0, and the corresponding control signal will have the logic high value. So only one example I have demonstrated here. That is, I have assumed I'm placing 0 over here. That is memory operations. And memory read, I want to generate memory read control signal. If the processor reading the data from the memory, then this signal will be generated by the microprocessor. If the processor stores some data into the memory or IO devices, then microprocessor will generate this control signals. Likewise, reading the data from IO devices, this is the control signal. Writing the data into the IO devices, this is the control signal. So this is the arrangement of demultiplexing AD0 to AD7 and how the processor generate various control signals. Same concept, a little bit demultiplexing explained alone. See here, AD0 to AD7, the latch 74LS373. This is the latch circuit. So when ALE1, the addresses are latched out during the first clock pulse or initial clock pulse. The remaining clock pulse, remaining time, we may utilize these buses for carrying data transfer. In today's class, we'll start instruction cycle in 8085 microprocessor and how to draw the timing diagram for each and every instructions. Right. So before starting off the instructions, I'll write one instructions, then we will convert into machine executable language. Then you can clearly understand what do you mean by instruction cycle and T state and what are the operation involving to perform that particular operations, to particular functions. So move immediate, I'm writing move immediate A comma 09. Move immediate A comma 09. What is the meaning of this instruction? 09 is an 8-bit data in hexadecimal. By default, it is a hexadecimal. Okay. I moved that 8-bit data to accumulator register. Now I'm using STA, store accumulated data in the location 9500. Two-line instructions. I hope you all are understand the meaning of each and every instructions. We have discussed more than 5 to 6 hours in the classrooms. Okay. First, set memory range. So I'm going to utilize from 8000 locations. Okay. So this is the instructions written by the programmer. But how to interact with the microprocessor? We need to convert into hex code. So just select assemble. So our program converted into machine executable codes. To perform move immediate A comma 09 and STA 9500 operations, we need to store 3E hex code in the address location 8000. I have selected 8000 address location. Okay. And then data must stored in the next immediate address location 8001. STA 16-bit address. 32 is the opcode from the opcode sheet. So 3T must be saved in 8002 locations. And the 16-bit address also must be saved in the next two consecutive memory locations. First lower order 8-bit and then next higher order 8-bit. Okay. So here tick mark indicates opcode. 3E, 3 2s are opcode. This is the data in the instruction. So this is the address location to which the accumulator content to be stored. Okay. So here 8000, 8001, 2. I think this 8003 location is hiding, no issue. Okay, 8005, 9. This way we have to enter the data. So once we entered, run the code. So what is the starting address of the program? In this example, I have selected 8000. So run the code and go back to the memory locations. In 9500, the data 09 is saved. Okay. Now come on. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about what do you mean by instruction cycle and what do you mean by M cycle? What is T state? Okay. Move immediate A comma 09. This is a 2-byte instruction. What do you mean by 2-byte instruction? To perform this particular function, we need two 8-bit information to be stored in the memory location. One is opcode, another one is immediate data present in this instruction itself. So 3E is an 8-bit and 09 is another 8-bit. All are in hexadecimal. So this instruction is a 2-byte instruction. Okay. STA 9500. This is a 3-byte instruction. What do you mean by 3-byte instruction? STA 16-bit address opcode and lower order 8-bit address, higher order 8-bit address. So to perform STA 9500 operations, we need to store 3 8-bit information in this address location. Okay, now you got an idea what do you mean by 2-byte instruction, what do you mean by 3-byte instructions and all. Suppose move A comma C. Move A comma C. Okay, I'll show you. I'm just typing move A comma B. Okay. I'm just assembling it. How many byte instruction it is? Move A comma B. The opcode is 78H hexadecimal code. So this is 1-byte instruction. Okay. So if we store 78 in the address location 8000, if we execute this program, the 78 will be placed in the instruction registers, and then instruction decoder decodes it what kind of operation. Then processor will understand, okay, the data stored in the register B has to be moved to register A. Okay. So do you understand the meaning of 1-byte instruction, 2-byte instruction, and 3-byte instructions? Please respond, anyone.
Yes, sir.
Next, M cycle, that is machine cycle. Now, what do you mean by machine cycle? One machine cycle may have one opcode fetch plus more than one execution cycle. So in this example, move A comma B. Data from B moved to A. Only one machine cycle. That is, we need to store only opcode in the memory. That is opcode fetch only. Opcode fetch only. So if we execute some other STA 9500. STA 9500. Now just assemble it. See here. How many machine cycle here? How many M cycle? Four M cycle. Why it is 4 M cycle required? 4 machine cycles. First one is fetching the opcode from memory 32, and then reading the lower order 8-bit address from this address location, and reading the higher order 8-bit address from this address location. So opcode fetch plus memory read plus memory read. After getting this 9500 information, then processor will write the accumulator content in the 9500 locations. So we need total 4 M cycle, 4 machine cycle, one opcode fetch cycle plus 2 memory read cycle and one memory write cycle. Okay, so totally 4 machine cycles we need. One more example, suppose MVIA comma 05, MVIA comma 05, assemble it, 2 machine cycle required. Okay, reading opcode fetch, first one is up for all the instruction, the first machine cycle called as opcode fetch cycle. Opcode fetch cycle, this is equivalent to the read data from memory. Opcode fetch plus memory read operations. So total machine cycle is 2. Okay, so instruction cycle in general represents how many machine cycles the processor required to execute the particular instructions. And what do you mean by machine cycle? Machine cycle, the example for the machine cycle, opcode fetch, memory read, memory write, IO read, IO write. Okay, so this operation called as machine cycle. So T state represents how many clock pulse needed to execute the particular instruction. That is the meaning of T state. One T state equal to one on time plus one off time in the clock pulse. Okay, so these are all some introduction about the instruction cycle. Okay, right. So please remember, instruction cycle equal to fetch cycle plus one or more machine cycle, one or more machine cycle, depending on the instructions. Okay, so the time required to execute and fetch an entire instruction called as instruction cycle. So now I think you all are clear about fetch cycle. Opcode fetch, move A comma C, we need to store a opcode. Okay, to execute this particular instruction, the microprocessor fetch the opcode from the memory. That's it. So now instruction cycle equal to only one fetch cycle. Move immediate A comma 05. So move immediate A comma 05 opcode from opcode sheet. And then the 05 must stored in the next immediate address location. So here the instruction cycle equal to opcode fetch cycle plus the 05. This is the data. So processor need to read the data from memory. So that will be equal to memory read. Instruction cycle equal to fetch cycle plus memory read cycle for this instruction. Okay. And then reading effective address. What do you mean by reading effective address? Suppose STA 9500, first opcode and 00 lower order address and 95 higher order address. So opcode fetch, memory read operation. After getting all the information, the processor will write accumulated data in the memory location 9400, that is memory write operation. So what is the instruction cycle for this STA 9500? Opcode fetch cycles, memory read cycle, and then memory read cycle, and then memory write cycle. Okay. So please remember, to execute one instruction by the microprocessor, it involves one opcode fetch cycle plus more than one machine cycle. In general, this is called as machine cycle. Okay. So this machine cycle represent whether memory read or memory write or input output read or input output write. Okay. The time required by the microprocessor to complete an operation of accessing memory or writing data into the memory or fetching the opcode from the memory, that is called as in general machine cycle. So one time period called as T state. One time period called as T state. One off time plus one on time. Okay. This is one T state. Right. So a simple example for instruction cycle. So remember that for all the instruction, the first cycle, the first 4 clock pulse will be utilized for fetching the opcode. Okay. Then depending on the instruction, it may involve more than one machine cycle. Whether it's memory read or write, IO read or write. The instruction cycle equal to one fetch cycle plus more than one machine cycle. We'll go to the example directly. Right. This one. Draw the timing diagram for opcode fetch. Draw the timing diagram for opcode fetch operation by the microprocessor. Okay. Let assume 2005. Let assume 2005. In this memory location, opcode is saved. Okay, one 8-bit hexadecimal information saved in this 2005 locations. So how the processor fetch this opcode and what are the steps involving in this particular operation? We need to explain with the help of this clock pulse. First clock pulse. Okay, first clock pulse. During the first clock pulse, the address latch enable equal to high. Address latch enable equal to high. That time, the AD0 to AD7 pins are used to represent the lower order 8-bit of the address. So this 05 will be placed in AD0 to AD5 during the first. This A8 to A15 dedicated for address only. So this higher order 8-bit 20 will be placed on this. Okay. And then the remaining clock pulse, the ALE will be 0. The ALE will be 0. So that time, the AD0 to AD7 is used to carrying the data. Okay, in this example, so between the microprocessor issues the read operation. Okay, so initially read will be high, that is this operation disabled. When read goes to 0, the read operation will be enabled. Particularly memory read operation will be enabled. Here it is write operation high. Write operation high. Write operation high meaning this operation is disabled. This is active low signal. Okay, so at the starting of the second clock pulse, the read control signal generated by the microprocessor. When read equal to 0, the read operation will be enabled. Then this opcode will be placed in the data bus AD0 to AD7 during this T2 and T3 clock pulse. Okay, then T4 clock pulse is necessary for the microprocessor to decode the opcode, what kind of operation it is. Say for example, move A, C. We have one opcode. So at the end of T3 clock pulse, the opcode read from the microprocessor and placed on the instruction decoder. Then during the T4 clock pulse, the microprocessor decode this operation. Okay. And the processor will understand what kind of instruction it is. So for MOV A, C, this kind of single byte instruction, we have only opcode fetch machine cycle. We need only opcode fetch machine cycle. Okay. So the status IO M bar S1 S0 bar just represents what kind of operation it is. So this is memory related operation. We are reading the opcode from the memory. So IO slash M bar must be 0. Because 0 complement 1 memory operation will be enabled. Opcode fetch S0 S1 will be 1 1. Okay, for fetching the opcode. It shows the status of the microprocessor. Okay, microprocessor, if S0 and S1 equal to 1, 1 represent microprocessor fetching the opcode from the memory. Okay. So in this way, we have to draw the timing diagram. Explain the operation or the steps involved in fetching the opcode from the memory by the microprocessor. So the conclusion here, please remember, the processor need totally 4 T states. Okay, the processor need totally 4 T states for opcode fetch. Okay. For any instructions to draw the timing diagram, first 4 cycle is opcode fetch. Any doubt in this particular diagram? Initially, address latch enable 1. So lower order address placed on the lower order address bus. Then address latch enable will be 0. Now this AD0 to AD7 ready to transferring or carrying the data or opcode. Okay. 8 to 15 dedicated for addressing purpose. So higher order address loaded into AD8 to AD15. Okay. So between 2 to 3 clock cycle, the opcode is fetched by the microprocessor. Okay. Opcode is fetched by the microprocessor between this interval. And one clock pulse is utilized to decode what kind of instruction it is. Very simple. And then when the read bar should be high, when read bar equal to 0, memory read operation will be enabled. When write bar equal to 1, write operation is disabled. To show the status of the microprocessor, whether it is opcode fetch or memory read or memory write, we need to specify S0, S1 value. Just shows 2 lines and just mention your S0, S1. And four clock cycle is required. At minimum 4 T states are required for fetching the opcode from the memory by the processor. So any doubt in this particular timing diagram? Please respond, the students. L05.
No, sir.
Do you understand the concept?
Yes, sir.
How to draw the timing diagram for opcode fetch?
Sir, ALE signal గురించి ఒకసారి చెప్పరా సార్ మళ్ళీ?
ALE signal during first clock pulse, this ALE signal must be high. That is what we discussed in the block diagram. Do you remember? We have 16 address bus, but 8 to 15 only dedicated for carrying the address of the memory or IO device. But AD0 to AD7, based on some condition, it will be used for pointing out the address. And based on some condition, it will be used for carrying the data. So what is that control? That control is the ALE, address latch enable. So in the first clock pulse, the address latch enable must be high. Okay. That time, the lower order 8-bit address 05. Total 2005 is the address location, 16-bit address location. I have taken an example. So this lower order address placed on this AD0 to AD7. So at this particular time period, this is act as address bus. AD0 to AD7 act as address bus. So now you got 2005, correct? Now you got 2005. So this 2005 will be placed on the program counter. Okay. Now between then the clock pulse T2 onwards, ALE must be 0. Our purpose is solved now. We pointed out the 16-bit memory location during the first clock pulse itself. Now this AD0 to AD7 can be used to carry the data. In general, we call this data. Okay. That is the purpose of ALE. Whenever you draw the timing diagram, during the first clock pulse, the ALE goes high. Then AD0 to AD7 used for hold the lower order 8-bit address. The remaining time interval ALE must be 0. During that time, the AD0 to AD7 for carrying the data in general. Here it is upcode. Upcode will be placed on this AD0 to AD7 lines because it's 8-bit upcode. Are you clear now?
సార్ అంటే ఆఫ్టర్ T4 the ALE must be మళ్ళీ 1 సార్?
That depends on what kind of operation it is. For move A, C, this 4 clock cycles sufficient to execute this instruction. That's it. You no need to think about T5, T6. We do not want T5 clock cycle here. Processor need only 4 clock pulse. Understand? I'll give one example. To execute move A, C instruction, the processor need only 4 T state to complete this operation. During T1 state, ALE must be high. Remaining all the 3 state, ALE must be 0. Okay, for upcode fetch. And between 2 to 3, the read bar signal, minimum 2 T state, the read bar signal must be 0. Then the read operation will be enabled. That is the opcode from the memory read by the processor. Okay, and T4 state utilized for decoding the opcode. So this opcode fetch, say for example, move A, C. To execute this instruction, only opcode is sufficient to store in this particular address location. So we'll get a clear idea if I explain the STA instruction. Okay. Anyway, we will continue the memory read, memory write operation in the next lecture, but you will get in some idea now. Suppose we need to draw the timing diagram to explain the steps involved inside the microprocessor, how the processor is executing the instruction STA 5 to 6A. Okay, draw the timing diagram for STA 5 to 6A. Store accumulator content in the memory location 5 to 6A. Okay. Now, 32 is the hex code for STA 16-bit address. In the next immediate address location, store your lower order address. Next immediate address location, store your higher order address. Okay. So what is the starting address? 41FF. 41FF. In this program, they have taken 41FF starting address. So 4200 and 4201. So 32. This is the opcode. Okay, this is opcode. This is address information. This is address information. Now to draw the timing diagram for this instruction, first one is opcode fetch. During T1 state, the ALE should be high. Okay. So the lower order address FF will be placed in the AD0 to AD7. This 41 placed in the A8 to A15. Okay. So 2 clock cycle, the read bar must be low for reading the opcode from the memory. So 3T will be placed in AD0 to AD7. So during T4 clock cycle, the processor decode the binary value, hexa value 32. That is 00110010. Processor will read this binary information, then the processor will understand accumulator content must be stored in 16-bit address. Those 16-bit information available in the next 2 consecutive memory location, 4200, 4201. So next machine cycle here it is memory read. You got the concept? Once the processor read the opcode 32H, processor will understand the accumulator content must be stored in the 16-bit address. So what is the address? Those address information available in the next two immediate address location 4200, 420. So from 4200, processor will read 6A. From 4201, processor will read 52. Okay, so this is related to memory read operation. Finally, if the processor getting the information about this 16-bit address, then the accumulator content will be writing in the memory location 526A. This is the entire operations. Okay. So in next class, I will explain you clearly about the memory read operation and memory write operations. So the conclusion in today class, how to draw the timing diagram for opcode fetch. Opcode fetch. Total 4 T state is required. And what do you mean by instruction cycle? And what do you mean by fetch cycle? And what do you mean by machine cycle? And what do you mean by T state? Okay. So next class we will continue to draw the timing diagram for memory read, memory write, and then we will come to this example. STA526A. How to draw the timing diagram.